What have you got going on now? What are you working on?
Yeah, so I write pretty much every day for a site called Sports on Earth. I write for New York Magazine. I have a piece about how everyone that's going to South Korea is going to die for the Olympics. So that'll be fun.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Piece. I don't. I just talked to a lot of people about it. And I went to Sochi 4 years ago, and everyone's forgotten this now, the same way that everyone's forgotten about Y2K. Like now, if you bring up Y2K, everyone's like, boy, I can't believe how nervous we were about that. That turned out fine. But it only turned out fine because we were prepared for it and panicked about it. And so Sochi, everyone forgets now how worried everybody was when they were all going to Sochi. But nothing happened, so now we've just like, oh, whatever. What were they so freaked out about? And I feel like that's a thing to remember as we go into South Korea. But unlike Sochi, where I was, I will not be going to South Korea. But unlike Sochi, where I was, this is 50 miles away from a demilitarized zone in which the leader, in which a man who apparently has a very small button that may or may not work at his desk may have a lot of thoughts about the entire world looking at that particular peninsula at that point.
It's weird reading about like the overall sentiment in South Korea, which is like, North Korea. It's so scary that we're like, I don't think anything will happen.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I don't know how to wrap your mind around that other than for the sheer terror to make it seem unreal.
I'm gonna solve this problem. Okay.
Got it.
South Korea calls America, but they don't call Trump. They call Dennis Rodman, and they secure him like a player being loaned to another club. We're gonna loan Dennis Rodman to North Korea to help out the South Korean games for that 2-week span, so nothing happens.
You just need to put him there. Put everything that Kim Jong-un values most in Pyeongchang. I don't know how to say it. I've only read it. I'm sorry.
I would argue that strategy is better than what they're currently doing.
So what's the strategy? Nothing?
Yeah, the strategy, I mean, that's the thing is, North Korea, after the new year, did something very rare. And Kim Jong-un actually said like, hey, I'd be willing to work with South Korea to have a positive games. And this is something that South Korea was really hoping they would do because North Korea is not sending any athletes to the games. So they were worried, as usual, like things are kind of blacked out in North Korea. No one really knows what's going on. So to have this very rare for North Korea moment where they kind of extend a hand and say, okay, maybe we can do this together. And South Korea was like, yes, cool, that's awesome, that's what we wanted. And what happens immediately? Lindsey Graham says, we're boycotting the games if North Korea has anything to do with this. For the record, Lindsey Graham does not actually have the power to boycott the Olympic Games. But then the next day, Trump does his big button, the famous presidential tweet of penis supremacy, and all of a sudden it's a thing again. And now South Korea is like, wait, like it's funny. 4 years ago, the idea with Sochi was that the fear for Americans that went was that we were stumbling upon an issue that involved us, but not directly, but would affect us. And now 4 years later, we're the ones causing the problem. We're actually the pains. We're the ones that are stirring it up and causing all the issues. But I guess maybe the Olympics, and in that case, in the Olympics are just like everything else that's happening right now. We're the problem.
Yeah,
but, that's the world we live in right now.
I like I don't like what the tweet was about. I don't like that it was that tweet, but from a 10,000-foot view of the tweet, it was actually structured pretty well. I was like, that's funny. It's funny. I wouldn't say it.
No,
it's like that joke that you probably shouldn't say it.
Yeah,
but it was a good one. It was like
a good one.
It was so. It's just for me. I enjoyed it because the underlying premise is that your nuclear arsenal isn't what matters in terms of size, but rather the size of the button that triggers the nuclear arsenal. Like my button is bigger, and it's on my desk.
Yeah.
Like let me put the nuclear button on my desk. This is his world where it's like, I knock shit over on my desk all the time. I'm accidentally bumping into stuff.
Right.
The idea that he has a nuclear button on his desk.
Maybe that's drawing a circle.
I drew a circle.
Yeah, he drew a circle.
Maybe it's safe because he never like does any work.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, he's
what
far
kind of
away
car
from it.
do you guys think Donald Trump would drive, considering what we know about button tweets and saying in the what was it, at the RNC that like his hands are so big to Marco Rubio and stuff like that? What sort of car do you think he would drive?
I don't know. I still prefer when you talk about the desk, the idea. I think they've given him like a fake desk that's not actually connected to any sort of presidential thing at all, and it's just 4 TVs and a big red button that does nothing, and he's just constantly pushing.
It's like the Staples button.
And someone in the other room gets like a little jolt, and he's like, "Oh, Donnie's upset again. Make the button bigger. Make the button bigger." That's the only way to handle the situation. As for a car, I don't know if you saw the pictures of Trump at New Year's Eve. I kind of feel like he would get winded walking to any car at this point. It is kind of jarring to see, particularly how well in shape both of our last presidents were, to see this kind of helium person is kind of an amazing thing. So I don't think he's making it to the car either way. Of course, I remind when Obama was president, one of the things when he was on the Seinfeld drive you around in cars with comedians, that was like the thing he said that he loved the most is actually loved getting to sit in the front seat of the car because and they just drove around in a circle on the White House grounds. But I don't think presidents get to be in cars.
That's right, because comedians in cars getting coffee, Jerry Seinfeld and him just rode around in a huge circle. Yeah, because they wouldn't allow them to leave any of the premises.
Yeah, so I thought that was very funny. People always ask, like, why isn't Obama talking more about what's going on? And I generally am of the idea that, like, for 8 years, he didn't get to do anything fun at all. I think it is okay if he drives a car really fast on a back road somewhere, or sits in his room and just plays video games for 2 hours. I think it is fine for him to do that.
What a visual.
That's what I want to see. And Michelle has to come in and just go like, play 60, sir. Play 60, Barack. You gotta get outside.
Seriously.
That's amazing.
And also, I can smell that nicotine. I know you're
it's just, I did my homework for 8 years, Mom.
Fine.
I love it. Yeah, I don't think Trump knows what the front seat of a car looks like, and not just because he's president. Like I don't think he would be baffled.
Well, he probably doesn't know what a car looks like because he's just in a limo all the time.
So he's in the back seat.
Yeah,
I think that would be hilarious.
So he's like, what is this 2-door thing that doesn't have champagne and
when I was a kid,
available?
Kids would always talk about machetes, but I don't think they knew what machetes were because they were like, that's a big knife. I don't know what it is. It's like machete is the word for a knife that's big. But I think that's how Trump would talk about cars. He's like, a Lamborghini Maserati, probably. I'd find a way to put them both together. Maybe it's my great Donald Trump impression.
Yeah, that was good.